I have many clients that are holistic healers in one modality or another. And the one thing that I know is that it's really hard to get found online. And this is for any service provider. I wanted to share what I've done over the years that has worked for me. I want you, while I'm going through this, to think about doing this for yourself. The first step is to know how your existing clients are finding you. So, what does that mean? When I get a phone call from somebody that I don't know asking about website design, I always ask them, how did you find me? And they will say, referred, or I saw you speak at blah, 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 or, oh, I did a search on the internet. And when they say that, I ask, what did you actually type in? Because I know what I would type in to find me, and you guys know what you would type in to find you. But is that really what clients are typing in? And that's the key. We need to be out of our own head and into the head of the people that we want to serve. And so discovering what clients are typing in will help you get found, because then you can start tailoring what you're doing around that set of keywords. So the first thing that I know is that people type in website designer Vancouver WA. And they always type in Vancouver WA because if they don't, they'll get Vancouver, BC. That's just the way it is. So around here locally, that's something I know. Everybody puts that in. Where you're at, it could be just your city. Maybe you're in a city like San Francisco. I don't think there's a San Francisco, Canada, or a San Francisco, Mexico. So San Francisco probably just works. And if there's a local acronym for San Francisco, that people use that. For example, in Portland, a lot of people put in PDX. I'm not quite sure what that even stands for, other than it's the airport designation, but it's a standard acronym around here for Portland. So knowing what local people are actually using, that verbiage, will help you as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I want to take you through what a client sees before they call me. And I'm starting with the term website designer, Vancouver, Washington, and I'm in an incognito window. So that just simply means it's not using my past search history to skew the results. I'm typing in website designer. I personally ignore all the sponsored ones because I know these people paid for this searching. And I also know other business owners do the same thing. And business owners are who my target market is. The first thing that really gets seen is the Google Business Maps placement. It is super important that you are in Maps. And the only way to get there is to have a Google Business profile. The other super important thing is that you show up in position 1 or 2 for your local area for your main keyword. The reason that is important is because most people are now searching on mobile, and mobile, this comes up first. And a lot of times it'll only show 1, maybe 2, depending on your phone. And then everything else gets put down into this more businesses button. So this is an ideal position 1 or 2. And I will go into in a little bit how I do this. But I can tell you a clue right now. I have 55 reviews. This company has 23 and this one has 29. That is key, to have more reviews than your competition. And the only way you're going to know what they have is to do these searches for your business. As we scroll down a little bit more, the first organic listing is UpCity. This is a website that connects service providers with people looking for services. And I think everyone here is a service provider. So everyone here should have a free profile on Upcity. For me, this search, they are consistently in position 1. What I want you guys to pay attention to when you do this search for your business is what directories are showing up on the page. If you don't have a listing in whatever that directory is, you need to get one. So that's how we use this directory thing. Upcity may not be showing up for massage therapist in San Diego. I don't know. I've never done that search. It may or may not. Whatever is showing there is what you want to make sure you have a profile in. The very first organic that's not a directory is my website. And I can tell you that I waffle between 1 and 4. So this morning when I did this search, it happens to be number 1. Yesterday I was number 2. It changes all the time. Tip here, if a search engine optimization company is contacting you and they say, I guarantee you first place position, run. There is no guarantee. There's no way that they can get you first place every single time. I can't even do that for myself. They're not being honest with you. This is a competitor of mine. And then we scroll down, we've got Yelp. I'm sure we all have our personal feelings about Yelp, but they do show up when people are doing searches for services. So make sure you at least have your free Yelp account. This is another competitor. Coincidentally, they've been out of business for over 5 years. So search engine optimization works beyond the life of your business in some cases. Another competitor, we got all of our competitors down here, and then we've got some other directories. So the important thing here is to make sure that you're showing up in whatever directories are relevant to your industry and that show up for searches that you're doing. The other thing that is important is I always ask people when they tell me, oh, I searched for website designers in Vancouver. I said, I know there's 5 or 6 of us that show up on that page. Why did you call me? And they invariably say, I read or saw your reviews online and felt comfortable to call you. So that tells me that they actually did a search, and they probably did that for several of these business names. But the second tab over here is a search for my business name and the word reviews. You definitely want to do this for your industry first, and then see what shows up for you. But if someone searches for my company name and reviews, the biggest thing that shows up right here is Google Business Profile. And this should show up for every single one of you if you search your business name with the word reviews. If it does not, you have a problem. Problem number 1 is you probably don't have your Google Business Profile thoroughly filled out. You may not even have one. If that's true, you want to go out and get them. They are free. And it's not hard. You don't have to pay anybody to do this for you. You can if you want, but you should just be able to do it yourself. Notice the reviews, super important. I have my address. I do this because when I actually started mine, they did not allow service areas. Now they do. However, service areas do not show up high in maps when your competition has their address used. So again, look at your specific competition. If they're using an address, I encourage you to use yours. We do have this service options, online appointments, not on-site services not available. So this tells people right here, don't come to my address. I don't meet people here. The other thing that I do is I am using their blog posting, article posting, event posting service. And I post once a week here, and it just keeps everything fresh. The thing that I know about Google is that Google loves it when you use whatever they provide. So making sure that your profile is 100% filled out will help you to claim that number one position in maps. It also helps this to show up when someone's searching for you. So now let's look at some of these other places. On Capterra, this actually showed up 2 weeks ago. Before this, I'd never heard of this company. So I click on this, whoops, and it thinks I'm not a human. Let me see if I click on this. They have actually scraped this profile from other places online. And this morning, just because I was curious, what is Capterra? I went ahead and I registered for a free account, and I discovered that they are a company that has software listed, and they give software companies preference here, and they're trying to promote their softwares. They are currently trying to add in services into their portfolio. So I saw a link that said, get on a waiting list to have your business added to our database. And that tells me that they are in beta of listing services. So hopefully, if you're online, they have scraped your service. If not, you can go ahead and get on that waiting list. The next one, Trustpilot. This is another place that you can leave reviews. Facebook, we all know what Facebook is. And this links to my premium website's Facebook page. We can see right there. Yelp, here is my review page on my website. And actually, I think this is a specific one. Yes, this is a blog post that I have on my website that mentions reviews. It has a review in there. And then this one is my review page. So if you are using your website to gather reviews or to post reviews, you will show up here. YouTube. I have all of my video reviews on YouTube. And I want to point out some of these dates. This particular one is only 14 seconds long. This was a client I'd met at a coffee shop. I had just gone through training on how to run his website because we had just launched it live. And he said, hey, Dotty, I want to give you a review. Like, I didn't even ask. He asked me. This was back on May 18th of 2014. For whatever reason, it still shows up when somebody does this search. And these are just other video reviews that I have. Site Jabber, I don't even know what that one is. It must just be another place that scrapes reviews. So the one thing I have noticed is when you get a lot of Google reviews, these companies actually take the Google reviews and they create you another review place online. They're using that content that's open for them to use. So you don't even have to create these places yourself. They will do it for you. This Capterra one, I didn't create this. And there's usually 3 or 4 other ones on here that aren't showing today for whatever reason. But there's lots of other ones that are scraping from the Google and creating profiles for you. So you want to watch that. Some of them you can claim for free and you can go in and make them more accurate and put in what you want for your business descriptions, and others you can't. One other search that you really want to do, and this one you should dominate, and that is your name. A lot of times people may have heard of you and they'll Google your name. They may have, maybe you spoke somewhere and they remembered your name, but they didn't remember your business name. This is a search that I know is done quite often. You want to make sure that you are dominating this. So Ask Dotty is another business profile that I have with Google. Images, if we click into this, who knows what we're going to see today. But on your website, if you are using the alt text in your images and you're putting your name in the ones that actually have you, you will show up in this image search. And a lot of people use the image search instead of the regular search. It's not something I personally do, but a lot of people do. Then here's Facebook, personal profile, LinkedIn, personal profile, my website, Crunchbase. This is something that is just scraped from Google. I actually have never looked at this. This is one of the profiles I was talking about. I did not create this. I might go back and claim it later. Pinterest, Portland Radio Project is a client of mine. There's my Ask Dotty site, Wikipedia. Oh, nope, that's not me because no one's murdered me. So these pages, you want to make sure that you dominate. And again, the reason for that is so that people can find you. And how do we know how people find us? Is simply by asking. So I know that I went through a lot. What questions do you have?
When you say you
Yes.
want to dominate like your search results, like how exactly do you do that? Is that by just making sure you have an updated Google profile? Like what constitutes like you being able to dominate that space?
So it is getting profiles all over the place. On mine, we saw Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest. I don't use Pinterest, but I have a profile there. I've got some stuff there, but it's not like a high priority for me because I'm not a visual, like my business is not visual. So the basic social media sites, at least having a profile, directories, getting a profile, and starting to, if on your website, make sure you've got an about more page, your name's on there, you want that to show up, type of a thing.
Okay, so it just sounds like you just want to be present everywhere, even though you may not necessarily be active. Okay.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Filling out the holistic chamber profile thoroughly. Sometimes that shows up during that search. And look at if you have somebody in your local area that is dominating your industry, do a search for their name and see what is showing up for them, what different websites are showing up for them. And you want to make sure that you have profiles on those websites.
Marjorie, you want to go ahead and ask your
Yeah,
question?
I'm curious as to why someone would use image search instead of a regular Google search.
Because some people are visual and they want to see. And especially for like your name, they may remember what you look like. So they could pick you out of the image. And those images are linked to wherever they came from. So the ones that are on my website are linked to my website if they click on them.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And I think somebody in the chat asked how I had so many reviews. There's a secret to that. And that is you ask all the time, you ask consistently. What I have is in my CRM, I have set up a campaign for, and I label it requesting a review after finishing a website. And about 4 or 5 times a year, I will go in there and I will look at the last, like maybe 10 sites that I've built, and I'll put their names into there and I will send that out and I'll collect reviews. Now, in that campaign, I have, I think, 5 different places where they can leave reviews because people will leave a review where they're comfortable. And I personally put them in the order of what I want. I've got Google first because not only do those show up and help me show up higher in maps, but as we can see, other companies take them and put them on their platforms.